when most people start to think about eating more protein and they start scrolling on social media, they find some crazy looking dude like this guy.
Liver King here. It's time for a Saturday dinner.
This is the Liver King, and whether you know of him or not, you don't need to do what he is doing.
This is what we're having. We're gonna have 30 grams of a protein shake. We got a concoction in here, some yogurt, some concoction, some maple syrup. We got a couple pieces of femur bone. We're gonna scoop the bone marrow right out of the center. We got some liver, as always, with some maple syrup, some salt. We got 5 beautiful cheeseburgers. That's what Liver King's having for dinner. It's time to go eat. Liver King out.
No, don't even try it. You will not be successful and you will not be able to sustain it. And there's a lot easier ways to get more protein than doing what this jackass is doing. What's up, YouTube? My name is Coach 𝐓𝐘𝐒, and welcome to my channel, where I take the often complicated and convoluted world of fitness and I simplify it so you can understand it, utilize it, and thrive, becoming the best and healthiest version of yourself. On today's episode, I'm gonna dive into the world of how do I get more protein without getting overwhelmed and just giving up after about a week. If you are the kind of person who knows they need to eat more protein, has heard of some strategies to do it, but none of them seem to work, and eating more protein seems like it's more work, more effort than it would potentially be worth, this is the video for you. So sit back, relax as I break down why you need more protein, some easy ways to get it, and how to make it work within your lifestyle. Keep watching the video, give it a like if you'll learn something, and subscribe to my channel to continue learning more simplified health information that you can actually use as a real person in the real world. So let's get right into it. So just with the topic of eating more protein, or really just consuming more, because you don't only have to eat protein, you can drink it in a protein shake. Some of the issues many clients, friends, and just people that reach out to me online come with is, how do I get more protein? As I eat more protein, it gets hard. Do I really have to drink more protein shakes? Oh, I'm getting tired of eating only eggs and other things of the like. Not to worry, I'm going to address all of that, and I'm going to make it super simple for you to understand just how important protein is, how much easier it can be to get it into your diet and make it a part of your lifestyle. And I'll take the temperature down on some of the recommendations that you may have heard on just how much protein you really need to eat. So keep watching, give the video a like, and comment below some of the things that have not worked for you when it comes to increasing your protein. I'll be able to address them on my next video. So let's get into talking about just what protein does in the body. And you're going to be surprised because it actually does a lot more than you think. So the first major role of protein is what everybody thinks of. You need it to make more of this: muscle. Protein helps you build and repair muscle. So after you work out, between workouts, or just at any moment in time, your body is going to take the protein that you're taking in and use it to build more muscle or repair the muscle that has been damaged through activity. But that is not it at all. We actually have a ton more to go over, so continue watching. The second role of protein is an important one, because when you eat protein, your body ends up releasing heat. It's called the thermic effect. And this releasing of heat isn't just like a convenient thing. It's actually your body having to break the protein down in your food and getting it to release its components to be used. So that breaking down of protein releases energy in the form of heat, which is why when you eat more protein, you end up losing some weight, because the protein that you take in requires some energy to be broken down and turned into energy and structures within the body. So consuming more protein, especially if you have like a big steak dinner, like I've eaten like a big 16-ounce steak, or I've gone to an all-you-can-eat Brazilian restaurant called 𝐵𝐷𝐿, and I ate a couple pounds of meat, I would imagine. That night was horrible. I was hot, I was uncomfortable, I felt like I had a baby in my stomach. And it was simply because my body was digesting several pounds of meat products. So I was overheating because my body was working in overtime to digest and process all of that wonderful protein that I would use to make more muscle and do some other things. Third thing that protein does, it promotes your hunger to shh. That is called satiety. That term means that you no longer are responding to hunger cues. So the more protein that you eat, the less hunger you tend to feel. This is why a lot of people tend to struggle getting in more protein, because the protein that they eat signals to their body stop eating, and then they end up missing a meal or missing their next protein intake moment, and then they become deficient, and then it's like, eating protein's too hard. So keep that in mind, and I'll be covering a little bit later in the video how you can get around this satiety, the hunger being told to shh, and be able to still consume your protein so you can make the progress that you want to have happen. Fourth thing, like I said, protein is utilized to make muscle, but it's also utilized to make almost everything else in your body that is not bone or teeth. Protein's used to make your organs, your enzymes, hormones, all of that stuff. So if you do not have enough protein in your body's not going to function properly. Some of the components that make your body function its best will not be made available because there will not be resources to create them or to utilize them. So you need protein in order for your body to function its best. Have you ever noticed that if you've gone for a period of time barely eating protein, then you have maybe a protein shake or a big piece of chicken or a bunch of eggs or anything that is high in protein, and you're like, I feel better. There you go. You've given your body protein, it's been broken down, some of those components go right to work, making your body perform its best and you feel better. Fifth function, we're not even done yet, your immune system. Your immune system needs protein because, like I said in the previous one, protein is used to make components of your body that are not bone or teeth. That includes the cells in your immune system that fight off infection, that keep you alive. So if you are getting sick or run down quite often and you're neglecting your protein, well, there's your reason. Your immune system doesn't have the resources to keep you healthy and alive, so you need to eat more protein, and I'll tell you how to do that in a moment. Next, I kind of touched on this, but protein is an energy source. Protein and carbs have the same amount of energy per single unit. For every 1 gram of protein or carbs that you eat, you get 4 calories of energy. On the other end, with fats, for every 1 gram of fat, you get 9 calories of energy. And also, when you drink alcohol, for every 1 gram of alcohol you take in, you get 6 calories of energy. So, why do I bring this up? If you're the kind of person that is eating a great amount of carbs and a little amount of protein, this is why reducing your carb intake and replacing the amount of carbs you took out with protein keeps your calories the same, but your body treats it differently. This is also part of why people who switch from eating a regular whatever I want diet to something that's keto or even carnivore, where there's high amounts of protein, lower amounts of carbs, they lose weight quickly because not necessarily that the energy is any different, but they're not retaining water, and their body is also going to be burning through more energy to break down that protein like I talked about earlier. So protein contains energy, same as carbs, but it also takes energy to digest. So eat more protein, please. The last function, number 7, so there's 7 functions of protein: cell structure and function. Again, like I talked about, your enzymes, your hormones, your immune system all require protein to be made, so they can be made. The cells of your body, skin, hair, muscle, all of those need protein for the structures on and inside of the cell. So if you don't have enough protein, your body's not going to be able to make enough of the stuff it needs to repair itself. So wounds can take longer to heal. You can stay sick for longer. You might not have great hair or skin, and other things that your body constantly is making more of will not have the building blocks because you're not eating enough protein. So if I haven't made it important enough to you now, I don't know how else to tell it to you. You need your protein. So let's get into how to make eating more protein more realistic. But when most people start to think about eating more protein and they start scrolling on social media, they find some crazy looking dude like this guy.
Liver King here. It's time for a Saturday dinner.
This is the Liver King. And whether you know of him or not, you don't need to do what he is doing.
This is what we're having. We're gonna have 30 grams of a protein shake. We got a concoction in here, some yogurt, some concoction, some maple syrup. We got a couple pieces of femur bone. We're gonna scoop the bone marrow right out of the center. We got some liver, as always, with some maple syrup, some salt. We got 5 beautiful cheeseburgers. That's what Liver King's having for dinner. It's time to go eat. Liver King out.
No, don't even try it. You will not be successful and you will not be able to sustain it. And there's a lot easier ways to get more protein than doing what this jackass is doing. So what are some of those ways? I'm glad you asked. Let's go over them. First up, a variety of proteins. You can have protein shakes, which a lot of people find success with. You can eat eggs. You can have chicken. You can even have plant-based protein. All of them are more than acceptable, and they all have their pros and their cons. So you will want to try a variety of sources so you don't just get fixated on one and get burnt out of it. And you want to try a variety of sources because let's say the one you tried doesn't work for you. For whatever reason, protein shakes, they taste bad. Fine. You're not going to give up and not eat any more protein. You're going to find some of the many sources out there. Secondly, start incorporating your protein into snacks. It does not only need to be something that happens at one of your sit-down meals. You could make a protein shake. You can bring beef jerky. You can pre-make hard-boiled eggs. You can even have something like Greek yogurt with a little bit of fruit. Protein is not just a single type of food. It is a ton of foods. They can be meals, they can be snacks, they can be on the go. You could have to sit down and eat them, but there's so many options out there. In fact, here's a big list of a bunch of them. You can pause and take a screenshot because I'm going to put several lists up right here of sources of protein. They're going to be broken down. Some of them will be more lean proteins, meaning they have less fat. Some of them will be higher in fat. Some of them will be non-animal based. But you're going to see you have a ton of options, so don't feel like you're only stuck with protein shakes, eggs, and chicken breast. That's just 3 out of the many. And lastly, you want to make small changes with your protein intake. If you're like many people and you're getting well under 100 grams of protein a day, that's your starting point. How do you know how much protein you're eating? You have to do a little bit of legwork. You can use apps to track your food intake. You can also do a very informal method I call the palm method. Palm like this. Using my palm as a reference size, I want to have at least a palm-sized serving of protein with every sit-down meal and a half a palm serving with every snack. If you're a guy, you want to at least have a palm size to maybe a palm and a half size. Reason being, men, we carry more muscle mass on average than the typical female. Doesn't mean y'all ladies can't have a palm and a half serving at every meal, but I don't want you to feel that that is the requirement, the expectation, or the level you need to aspire to. So, as I touched on earlier, most everyone needs to at least be getting 100 grams of protein a day. As I put up earlier the list of foods, you saw that they had the amount of protein that you get per serving. You can use that list, you can log your food using an app, you can use the palm method, you can take pictures, but you need to see visually and track numerically how much protein is going in so you can systematically step it up. I'll give you an example. One of my neighbors, she's working with my wife, who's also a personal trainer, and going over her nutrition. And my wife suggested you need to start eating more protein. And our neighbor is eating easily, probably only about 50 grams of protein on a good day. So our neighbor needs to not go from 50 grams to immediately to 100, because doubling that is going to lead to some pushback. She needs to go from 50 to about 60, 60 about 70, 70 about 80. Bottom line is, it needs to happen slow over time. The slower you do it, the easier it will be to stick to it. When you try to go too fast, that satiety, you know, that factor in protein that makes your hunger go, shh, it's going to tell you to stop eating. The fact that you have to potentially prepare more of this large amount of protein is going to cut down on your resilience. So you're going to be like, oh, this is too much work. So you're going to cut down. So that is why small incremental increases are the only way to do it. Only go up by 5 or 10 grams at a time and try to do it slowly so that it becomes so easy to do that you will find yourself saying, wow, this wasn't that hard. It should not be something extreme, because the more extreme you go, the faster you're going to give up at it. So do it slowly. Embrace the process. Your mindset is that this is going to be a lifestyle change, not a quick fix. You're not just trying to eat more protein for this trip you have coming up or till you lose that last 5 pounds. No, your body needs protein to function its best. It needs protein to help you manage your hunger. It needs protein so you stay healthy. All of those things and more are why you need more protein. I hope I've covered everything that you may have as a question, but I'm sure I haven't. That's why I want you to comment down below any questions you have, any pushback that you may have, because eating more protein is a process, just like exercising more, waking up earlier, saving money, whatever you're trying to change, it is a process, and it's not one that should be happening overnight or even in just 1 week. You want to embrace this process. Give yourself at least a month to slowly ramp up from whatever the low value of protein you're currently is to as close as 100 grams as you can get. And once you're at 100 grams, your goal is to try to average anywhere from 0.7 grams per pound of body weight to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So I'll do the math for you real quick. Let's say you're a 200-pound individual and you're already easily eating 100 grams of protein per day. So your goal is to average anywhere from 0.7 times your body weight of 200 pounds, so that's 140, to 1 gram times your current body weight, which is 200. So your goal as a 200-pound individual is to average anywhere from 140 to 200 grams of protein per day. If that math gets a little bit confusing or you want a little bit more help with it, comment, help me, and I will reach out to you and I will help you not only figure out the range that works, but come up with a strategy that can help you systematically get there. So I'll leave you with this. Eating more protein is necessary for all of us, but we don't need to eat a ridiculous amount of it. We need to eat more protein so our body functions its best, our hunger is under control, and we can build more muscle to continue to improve our overall health. When it comes to increasing protein, don't try to do it all in one fatal swoop. You need to at least be eating 100 grams of protein, and then beyond that, it needs to be of a range of 0.7 grams per pound of body weight to 1 gram per pound of body weight. Slow and steady wins the protein increase race. It is a marathon, not a sprint. I hope you learned something. Comment down below your most trusted and favorite protein source, and let's have a nice conversation for any of you that need some assistance. So with that being said, you're going to see a video popping up right now. Give it a watch. It's another one on my channel that will give you some more education on how to make health easier and more sustainable for you. Have a great rest of your day.